Hi guys and welcome back to Think Student. Today we're going to be looking at when should you start revising for your A-levels. Timing your revision and practice for your A-level exams is vital if you want to succeed and achieve the best grades you can. In this video we'll cover everything you need to know from when to start, what to do if you've left it too late, and the importance of practice. Like always, any of the articles and videos mentioned in this video can be found via the links in the description below, and if you have any questions, please feel free to drop a comment in the comment section of our videos or articles and we'll try to get back to you as soon as we can. To start off with, we're covering why is it important to start revising at the right time. Your A-levels can be extremely important and not just for getting you into university. Depending on the field of work you choose to pursue, employers may look at your A-levels as a major factor when deciding whether to employ you or not, even if you've been to university as well. Therefore, if you don't achieve a good set of A-level results, you will struggle to progress to the top of your chosen career path. In order to get the best possible grades, you will need to revise as effectively as you can, and timing the beginning of your revision is vital. Starting at the right time will ensure that you can make the most difference to your exam grades, and the same applies to starting at the wrong time, but your grades will tend downwards instead of up. The average A-level student will partake in 3 subjects, but the number of exams you sit will depend on the A-levels you choose. For example, you would need to take more time studying for A-level maths as opposed to A-level law. The best time to begin your revision should allow you enough time to cover all of the content in your exams, but you should only be refreshing your memory and not teaching yourself new content, as everything should have already been covered in your classes. Students from a What Uni interview, which will be linked in the description, say that the minimum amount of time that you should set yourself to revise in preparation for an exam is 4 to 5 weeks, which is about a month in advance. Of course, this is only the minimum. Over here at Think Student, we recommend about a total of 7 weeks in advance of your first exam, to give you a little more time and reduce some stress. But feel free to add to that if you're taking any extra subjects. 7 weeks is just under 50 days of available time, which means that the starting point for most students will be around the middle of March each year. If you've got a family member or friend who's working on their GCSEs, we also have a whole article and video which covers how they should be revising to get the best grades. So if you'd like to check it out, we have a link to it in the description down below. And number 2, we have why can't you just pull an all-nighter? While using your short-term memory may be an alright idea to cram lots of information in before the day of an exam, does the same rule apply for an all-nighter? The short answer is no. All-nighters are never a good idea unless you want to be half asleep in your exam. A key part of learning is making sure that you give your brain enough time to rest and process all the information that you've passed into it. So if you avoid sleeping and therefore providing your brain with the break it needs, it will inevitably lead to some serious errors in your exam. Not resting will most likely cause you to misread questions and have reduced attention span, which is clearly not going to help you. If you're running out of time and you'd like to find out how to revise effectively the day before an exam, we also have a whole article dedicated to just that in the description below. And if you find it hard to focus and make the best use of your time, we have an article dedicated to the things that you should avoid during exam season, also linked in the description. Now that you understand why pulling an all-nighter is a bad idea, you should also be able to see why setting a revision timetable is so important. And if you've got your schedule set up in the 7 weeks before your exam, then there should be no need to even consider trying to stay up all night and revise. Our third point we'll be looking at is how should you start revising for your A-levels? We now know when the best time to begin revising is, but you may be wondering just how to go about it and if there are any special tricks involved that could help you. A-level revision is hard and clearly more difficult than GCSEs due to the fact that the content is of a higher level, and for this reason you may struggle to find the motivation to start. A good way of getting your head in the game, as we briefly mentioned before, is a revision timetable. This way all your study is scheduled for you, making it harder to avoid. One of the key features of a solid revision timetable, however, are breaks, as even though you may, like us, want to work as hard as you can, some chill time can really come in handy. If you feel like your revision timetable is boring and doesn't put you in the mood, it may be of some use to spice it up by adding colours or shapes, making it more enjoyable for yourself. This way you'll be more engaged when it comes to your studies, and it should help you with motivation too. Speaking of your studies, trying out some different revision techniques like the Pomodoro method can also help in keeping you focused. Your revision style will need to change as well as you get closer to your exam date. We have a whole article dedicated to the specific way to revise on the day before your exam, and the specific things you should be doing on the morning of your exam to ensure the knowledge sticks, both of which will be linked in the description below. Make sure you keep a healthy attitude and don't panic, as worrying about your exams can often cause you to put off practicing for them, which is a very bad idea. One thing we found useful when studying for our A-levels was completing past papers. This is a great way to do your revision and prepares your exam techniques too. And number 4, we'll look at just how much revision should you do for your A-levels. We've looked at when you should start revising, what not to do, and how to go about it. But we haven't quite talked about the quantity of revision that you should be striving for. Defining how much you'll cover in each session is important to get right at the very beginning, as you'll find it will make it much easier to do well in your exams. We suggest aiming for around 15 to 20 hours a week, which works out to be 5 hours per subject, so 15 if you're taking 3 subjects, and 20 if you're doing 4. Splitting this workload over the weekdays could be a good idea, with 3 hours a day, which is a great structure if you fancy a break on the weekends. However, even if your structure is perfect, life tends to get in the way. There's going to be days in which you can't revise for the time you set out, but remember that any revision is still better than none at all, so try and get in as much as you can. Finally, at number 5, we're going to be looking at the importance of study hours for A-levels. Studying at college not only includes class time, but also some independent study hours. These hours are vital for your success in class, but you may be wondering if they count towards your exams. If we're talking about raw revision hours, then no. The 15 to 20 hours a week we quoted previously does not include any work done at college or sixth form, and therefore should be dealt with on top of your classwork. It's essential that you complete both of these sets of hours for the best results, or you may start to fall behind. But if we're talking about exam contribution, then yes. Any work that you do that relates to your A-level courses will be of use to you in your final exams. The more independent study hours you achieve, the higher the likelihood of you passing will be, but these independent study hours should not only be performed in the 7 weeks leading up to your exams, but the entire time you spend at college. Realistically, this may not be the case, but it certainly won't hurt to do a small amount of revision each week leading up to the 7-week mark, to simply target some areas in which you're less confident. Well, that's it for this video, guys. If you'd like to check out the article version of this video or any of our other articles and videos talking all about revision and your studies, you can find links to them in the description down below.